Today we're going to talk about infill lots. This is a big part of my business as a vacant land investor. I focus on vacant land, and infill lots come in quite a bit in deals that I'm doing. I want to talk to you about why do they exist, what do they look like, where can you find them, where do you find the owners, and the ways that I go about doing all those things. If you would, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about the video. Leave a comment. I appreciate everybody that's been checking out the videos and subscribing to the channel. Let's get into it. What is an infill lot? So think about a subdivision, maybe, in any suburb, house rows of houses on streets, cul-de-sacs, and then you got one of these, an empty lot. So you've got houses everywhere except for there's one empty lot, or maybe two empty lots. Basically that empty lot in the neighborhood, that's an infill lot. When you see a house and a vacant lot in between it, that's an infill lot, okay? That 50 by 100, 50 by 150, 40 by 100, the dimensions can be different, but that's basically what it is in the simplest form. It's just an empty lot in a neighborhood, not acreage, right? So then there's acreage that maybe 5, 10, 15, 20, 100 acres. That really wouldn't be an infill lot in most cases, but when I think about an infill lot, it's just that empty lot where there's houses all around, and maybe there's going to be another house, right? So why do they exist? I've seen them exist because of different circumstances. Sometimes somebody bought a house or bought the property and they bought 3 or 4 lots at the same time, and they only ended up using 1 or 2 or none of those lots and didn't build, and then the neighborhood came up around them. So there's extra lots. So if they built a house or put a mobile home or some sort of structure on one lot, and then they were good with that, and then maybe they sold it and kept the lots. So those lots are just sitting there now in the neighborhood, and there's a lot there, or 2 or 3 or whatever the case may be. That's created these infill lots. I've seen them created also from a fire, house burned down. They took the insurance money and didn't rebuild, or they didn't have insurance or enough insurance to rebuild the home. So the city came in, demolished the structure, and that lot's now vacant and empty, and infill lot in the neighborhood. I've seen those created. Sometimes I'll see a homeowner that just wanted a bigger yard, or so they bought the house and the lot next door was open, and it was never anything more than a big side yard or a big backyard. And then those owners move on, and it's an infill lot. So I did also a video similar to that where this house sits on 4 lots. The homeowner wanted to keep the house and sell the 2 lots on the side of the house, so they kept the house, and I bought one lot on each side of the house. Those were infill lots. So there's different strategies for buying, for selling, for developing, if that's the course that you want to go. But keep an eye out for infill lots if you're thinking about vacant land investing or real estate investing in general. This is just another tool for your toolbox. There's it's a whole niche, and there's a lot that goes into it. So do your research, but it's a good, some of the first real estate deals that I did were infill lots, just buying a lot, buying a package of lots, breaking those up and selling them off. If you find this one right here, where it's 2 lots side by side in the neighborhood, and this person here next door owns these lots, they may have just looked at that for 20 years as their yard, so they may think that all 3 of these lots together, it's just their lot. This is our lot. Mom and dad bought a big lot, and so now we've got it. And they may not realize that each of these is a separate lot. And that's where the opportunity comes in. So they could keep the house, and you could give them $20,000, $50,000, whatever the market is for your area, for this area on this beautiful subdivision that I've just developed here on my whiteboard. So each one of these could be a separate lot, so you need to pull up comps. Hopefully there's lots selling in that neighborhood. If there's not, then the comps are going to be a little bit more difficult, and you want to plan and offer accordingly. So if there's no sold comps in the neighborhood, that means a couple of things. It means nobody sold any. These may be the only 3 lots in the neighborhood that are vacant. So you may have to expand your search for comps, but then it's not the same neighborhood, so the comps get a little bit more difficult to be apples to apples. And then you want to put it as low. So if I don't know what these are going for, and these houses here, probably there's comps available for houses, but not vacant land. So you got to judge the neighborhood, the market as a whole. Is there any home builders building in anywhere, custom home builders, any sort of home builders in this area? And you may call them up and say, hey, what would you pay for lots? You could get these under contract and wholesale them to a home builder. Say, hey, look, I've got 3 lots, or I've got 2 lots here. Maybe you can get this one too, maybe not. You can look at the tax appraisals, which is, a pretty bad judge a lot of times. But talk to a home builder. What would you be willing, or what are you paying for lots in this area? I've got some over here on such and such street. Are you building anything in that area? Are you doing any spec homes? Are you interested in any lots for your inventory? Do you have any clients that are interested in building in that area? And those are all, if you're looking at buying lots like these to sell to a home builder, those are the people you need to be talking to. You need to know your customer, right? You need to know who your end buyer is before you ever go in and do this deal. So it's good to talk to these people. They may say, 10,000, 5,000, whatever it is. But if that home builder tells you, well, I'm paying $40,000 for lots in this area, because they know what they can sell them for with a house. So okay, he's buying them for $40,000. If I can buy them for what you plug in your numbers, and the profit just rolls from there. So we get into who buys these, right? So who's your end buyer? Well, it's some sort of developer, a home builder. If they're residential infill lots, the neighbor next door may be wanting to buy those. A lot of times, this lot right here is overgrown, and this neighbor or this neighbor or this neighbor is tired of looking at it, or this neighbor is tired of looking at it, and there's rats and possums and snakes and whatever else living in there, or there's trash in there, and it makes this house look bad and this house look bad. So they're willing to pay it. They say, you know what, I've been wanting to buy that house for 10 years, 5 years. I've been wanting to buy that lot, man. I've been mowing it for 10 years. I've bought lots. And the guy next door comes in and says, man, I've been mowing that lot for 10 years. I would have loved to buy it. How'd you buy it? I said, well, one of my wholesalers contacted me and they had the deal on this lot and I bought it. Wow, I've been trying to buy it. I've been mowing it for 10 years. I'm gonna put a lien on it. I had one guy who wanted to put a lien on the lot. And I said, well, you say you've been mowing it and I said you've been trespassing. Let's just call it even. So it's all how you look at it. But then the neighbor may say, well, how much will you sell it to me now? And then there you go. Well, I own it. I'll sell it to you for $30,000. I paid $5 for it, or 10, or whatever. Your numbers. And so the neighbor may be interested in buying it, So those who buys it, custom home builders, other investors, and the neighbor next door. A lot of times, I've bought these lots from wholesalers before, and then they've just got their numbers wrong. I bought one. I've bought them all the time, but an out-of-town wholesaler will call me with a lot, or there'll be a lot that they'll have. Are you buying lots in this area? Yes, I am. I've got this one. How much do you want? I want 15,000. Okay, I'll give you your 15,000. Then I'll turn around and sell it for 35 or whatever, So there's opportunities there, and that's how you find them, right? So how do you find the owners of these lots? Well, you can look them up on the tax records at the courthouse. If you're using the skip tracing software or something like that, go for it. That's how you can find them. You can put out ads that say, hey, look, I buy land, because there's a lot of ads out there that say, I buy houses, I buy this kind of house, that kind of house, but vacant land, I buy vacant land and lots and acreage. Well, there you go. You've got your niche going. So that's kind of how I target them. I look online, I look on Zillow, I look on the MLS, anywhere that they're selling real estate. Get your name out there and find these lots, right? So if you're targeting a particular one, like I want this one right here, okay, well then you need to start sending mailers, stuff an envelope with some cash in it, like I do on some of my videos, and mail it off to whatever address is on file for this one. See if there's back taxes on it. It may be coming on some sort of a tax foreclosure sale. It may be in some sort of probate. You don't know, but you go to the courthouse or do your skip tracing software and find out what's going on with that lot. Then just follow the leads down the line from there as to who owns it. You may talk to the neighbors. I have a neighbor next to me that she knows everything about everybody in the neighborhood, where they're at, She told me the kind of mortgage one of our neighbors has, because there's an empty house in our neighborhood that I asked her about because I knew she would know. And she told me that that lady moved to California. The house is sitting empty because she has a reverse mortgage on it. She's living here. She's living with these people. She's not doing anything with the house because she doesn't want to, I don't know, whatever's going on with the reverse mortgage. I said, okay, got it. Give her my number. I'm buying properties. I'll buy that house from her. And so talk to the neighbors, find out about the lots. That's a good way to skip trace. That doesn't cost you any money, and they may give you more information than the internet could ever provide, or that you may even want. There's lower competition is what I found from my business on lots. And the financing's a little different, right? There's not a lot of hard money loans like on the internet. Like if that's where you're looking, somebody said, well, I can't find any hard money lenders for land. And I said, well, you can find private money. You can do a personal loan. You could do, because the entry fee on these is a lot lower than on a house. A $250,000 house or $100,000 house or a $50,000 house compared to sometimes you can get these lots for a couple thousand, 10,000 low, right? So depending on your area, depending on your market and stuff like that. So the financing is definitely different. The competition's different. It's not that it's harder or easier. It's just different, right? So you got to know what you're looking at with infill lots. A lot of times you can get owner financing on these. More often, from what I found, an owner would be willing to do owner financing on land rather than a house. They don't have to pay the taxes anymore. You're sending them a check every month or whatever it is. You gave them some sort of down payment, maybe. They don't have to mow it anymore. Things like that. People are less attached to lots a lot of times than they are to houses. But sometimes they're more attached to lots than they are to houses. That was a dream that they were going to build a house on, and it just never happened or hasn't happened. And, the stories go on and on and on. Infill lots, commercial infill lots, mind blowing, I know, but we're used to seeing this, right? No problem. This is a neighborhood. This is a cul-de-sac. This is a street. Got it. These are all houses. And there's a couple empty lots in the neighborhood. Got it. We're used to seeing that. No problem. But think about it, if this was a commercial district, if all these were warehouses, this is some sort of industrial park, or these are medical office buildings or professional offices, and somebody came in at some point and did a development. This is all zoned for business, commercial use, and let's say these are warehouses, warehouse, empty lot, warehouse, you got it, right? So now this is a commercial development, and there's still an empty lot here though. When this guy built his business, bought his lots, did his warehouse next door, he said, my business is going so great. I am making so much money. I am taking over the world, and one lot with one warehouse is not going to do it for me. At some point, I'm going to need an extra lot. One is not going to do it, right? So he's making all the money in the world. He's an optimist, like a lot of business owners are. And he said, I'm going to need an extra lot. One's not going to do it. And then he bought both lots, put his warehouse up, business continued to boom. He was successful, paid off this warehouse, paid off this lot. And then one day he said, you know what? I'm tired of driving down this street, going in that warehouse and giving it my life every day. I'm making a lot of money, but I work 12 hours in the morning. I go to lunch, I go home, and then I come back and I work another 12 hours at night. And my blood pressure's up, my stress is up. I'm tired of dealing with employees. I'm tired of dealing with vendors, contracts, contractors, all of it. I am done. Put the for rent sign on that warehouse, collects a rent check every month, and he's done. He's moving on, sailing the world, hitchhiking, mountain climbing, spelunking, cave exploring, whatever it is that he's doing it not at this warehouse. He's collecting a rent check. He has the lot there. It's all paid for. He's living his best life. And so you come along, a real estate investor, or I come along, a real estate investor, and we say, hey, we're sending him letters, stuffed with cash, stuffed with a beautifully handwritten note, something along those lines. Say, I see you have that lot there. I'm buying lots. Would you be interested in selling the lot? And he may say, you know what? I'm getting a steady flow of cash from this warehouse. Nobody's really doing anything with a lot. I could use the cash. How much would you give me? I'll give you $50,000. Okay, and you know that it sells for 50,000 is a good price because these just sold for 100,000. That's the research that I'm doing. If there's lots there, you want to comp them. So you come back, he comes back, says, that's great, $50,000. I'll take it. You can have the lot. I'm keeping the warehouse. My rent check's going to keep coming in. And you go ahead and ask him, well, would you owner finance it? Would you take 10,000 down and I'll pay you a couple of payments, $1,000 a month, whatever it is. He's happy because now he's getting increased income. He got a little bit of cash from the down payment and life goes on. You turn around, put a for sale sign up, $99.9, and sell the lot. In a perfect world, it all went great. You put 10,000 down, made a couple monthly payments for 1,000 a piece, sold it, and made you a good profit. But I don't know if that's the real world example. It's happened. It's not that far fetched. You got it, right? So you get the concept. Residential, commercial, it's all the same with this scenario, right? So it's infill lots commercial, infill lots residential. It's just a vacant lot in a subdivision in some sort of neighborhood, in some sort of development that you can use, sell it. The buyer's the same for that. It's another business owner. Maybe this guy didn't have the same attitude when this guy bought his. He was saying from the get-go, I'm going to need a second lot. It's not going to be enough room. And this guy said, I just need one. I'm good. That's a lot for me. And now this guy's saying, man, I should have bought another one. And now you put a $100,000 lot up for sale next to him. Boom, he's all over it. Got it. That's what I always needed. Perfect. There you go. So these are your buyers. These are the people that buy these infill lots. So I hope that helped out. I hope it gave you some ideas. This wasn't all inclusive, didn't cover it all, but it covered, a couple scenarios, a couple things to look for if you're interested in infill lots or vacant land. I hope this helped you out. Hope it was entertaining, if nothing else. The artwork was good, I know. Thank you. Leave it in the comments below. If you would, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think about the video, and I will see you on the next one.